Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all the Dhamma brother and sister. So today is the lecture number 6, and actually we want to before we start, we want to highlight. Some of you do not know where to download the materials. So what we do is usually we put it up into the dhammadownload.com. So if you go to the main page, you will see the second place circle here is that Abhidhamma in English. If you click here, and then you will see this menu, this page. In this page, in the below, you will see Sayalay, YuzanaNyani. If you click this, it will lead to another page called Sayalay, dedicated page for the Sayalay YuzanaNyani. So in there, you can actually see all the materials, reference material, and all the recorded videos. Then a lot of information. You can scroll down all the way down, and also you can find a lot of information there as well. Right. So for today, we like to start our class by paying homage to the Buddha by saying Namo Tassa together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
So can I start now?
Yeah, we need to change to Yep. Okay, Sayalay, you can start now.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and nice to meet again. And today is the 6th lecture under the main theme of what does Abhidhamma mean to us. And today we are focusing on getting to know our body. So let's say for the previous 4 lectures, we have mainly focused on the mind, consciousness, and mental states with which we are composed of, or which we are doing activities, which we are experiencing, which we are living in our daily life. So as for today, we will focus on our body, or the material qualities, which in Pali is known as the rupa. So rupa is also a big chapter, and I'm not sure how much I can cover in this 2 hours time. So first, not going further, we will have a look at rupa. So when we say that rupa, I hope you still remember at least this concept that our human beings, or we are composed of the 5 aggregates, or in another term, nama and rupa. So as for nama, it already covered the 4 mental aggregates. Consciousness form the aggregate itself, and we have feeling. Feeling is a separate group or separate aggregate. In Pali, we call khandha, and so is the perception. Then the remaining 50 cetasika, which some people often confuse, is the sankhara khandha, or the aggregate of the mental formations. So like the wholesome quality, like saddha, confidence, sati, mindfulness, alobha, non-attachment, adosa, non-hatred, anti-hatred, or metta, compassion, appreciative joy, karuna, mudita, like wisdom, panya. And on the dark side, we have craving or attachment, lobha, animosity, hatred, anger, depression, all these things which represent dosa, and like remorse, envy, jealousy, and so on. All these pertain to that sankhara khandha, or the aggregate of the mental formations, which is composed of 50 of the 50 mental states. So after this 4 mental aggregates, now we will look at our physical body, which also form and aggregate itself. That is, in Pali we call a physical body, or this body is the rupa, and the aggregate or group is the khandas, rupa khanda. Then what is rupa? We are often heard of the term nama and rupa and so on, as since we start learning Abhidhamma, or we would say like for the previous 5 weeks, we have been talking too much about nama and rupa, mind and matter. So rupa has been translated in many ways, as you can see here. That is the matter, material quality, material property, materiality, corporeality, material form, and so many different translations. So what is important here is when we talk about this rupa, what we will focus is their inherent qualities that remain in them, not the material itself. So this is important thing to note. So looking after seeing the translations, we also need to know what is the original meaning of rupa, from which Pali or the vowel root is the word rupa derived. So the Pali word rupa is derived from the Pali vowel root Raupati. It means transforms, deforms, changes, perishes. So from the meaning itself, it should be clear, right? Then we also have another definition from the commentary, which explain or which goes in much more detailed. It says here that matter is so called because it undergoes changes. You know, when we talk about changes, you might also think that our mind, like our consciousness and mental states, also keep on changing from moment to moment. Your state of mind this morning or yesterday or even 1 hour ago or 5 minutes or even 1 minute ago is totally different from what you are having now, because it keeps on changing. But why is only this rupa called changes? It means it undergoes the obvious changes. The changes is very prominent. The changes is very obvious. So that's why only these material qualities are known as the rupa. So what are the conditions? Here, few conditions are given. Due to the adverse physical conditions like heat, cold, etc. Of course, our physical body keep on changing due to heat and cold. And for this additional information, etc., we have this quoting or quote from the commentary. It says that it is deformed by cold, heat, hunger, thirst, flies, mosquitoes, wind, sunburn, and creeping things, etc. Still a lot more to come in this, etc. See, how does it go by change? How does it got changed by cold? Apparently, people who stay in the cold region or who go to or visit the cold region or countries or places would really notice that when there is extreme cold or when the cold is very prominent, then we have this frostbite, right? Then even like the flesh got sometime destroyed or damaged from this cold heat. Yes, that's very much apparent. Because when there is heat, then we have sweating, we have fatigue, we have tiredness in the body. And of course, there is also hunger. Are you feeling hungry now? Or you might have already taken some snack or some meal. But what if you live without taking food for half day or even a day, right? Then it's totally noticeable. And the Buddha said that among the diseases, hunger is the worst disease. Jikacha Paramayoga. That's why we have to fill our body with the petrol, with the neutral, with the fuel. We have to fill in to keep it going. Just as we fill the petrol or the fuel to the car, in the same way we have to give nutriment to our physical body so that we can keep going, we can keep alive. Thirst, yes. So there is also a saying that the life of water is one morning, or it means if you don't drink water for a half day or one morning, then it's caused lots of trouble and it causes lots of dehydration to our body. And flies and mosquitoes, yes, these insects or these little things can also harm us in many ways. And we also have some poisonous things like bees and wasps, and I have the experience of being stung by the wasps, and I feel hot and reddish in my whole body and feeling very hot also. And fortunately, I could rush to the volunteer. They bring me to the clinic, and doctors say that if I arrive like half an hour later, then I won't get survived. So these poisonous things also make lots of changes in our physical body. And wind, yes, to prevent wind, then we have to stay inside the building, because wind can also cause us sick. Sunburn. In Asian country, we have lots of sunshine, but in some country, like they need lots of sunshine, so they have to go to the beach and get sunshine, right? So sunshine can also make sunburn can also make changes to the body. When there is sunburn, then even if you go for the sunbathing, then you have to apply the cream so that the skin didn't get burnt, right? And the creeping things like the snakes and all these poisonous things can make lots of changes in our physical body. So just to get familiarized with some Pali words, cold is the sita, and then heat is the ona. Down there you can see sitena piropati, pi may here also. So by cold also it changes, and onena piropati, by heat also it got changes. Jikachaya piropati, hunger also brings changes to our body. And thirst, fly, we have this damsa, makasa, and then wata tapa means that is the wind, hot wind. And then vata is wind, and atapa is this heat, sunburn. And then sarisapa, this creeping things, sampasana. When getting into contact with this creeping thing, there can be changes to the physical body. So this is what the Buddha has expounded in the Kajaniya Sutta of the Samyutta Nikaya. So after seeing why it is called Rupa, then we will have an overview of how this chapter or this Rupa chapter is composed of. So here we can see altogether 5 sections. After interpretation of the word Rupa, then we have the enumeration we will count. But here we will count just briefly. That is, we call Rupa Samodesa. Odesa means in brief, right? And then classification of matter. For the second section, we will classify these 28 matters by means of one full method and by means of 2 full methods, which you will see soon. And the third one, that is causes or the conditions of matters. So the Buddha said that matter doesn't arise automatically or accidentally, but it arises or it changes due to the different causes or condition, which is very important for us to understand. And grouping of matters. When we say about the material group, we got to have the understanding that matter doesn't arise alone, or matter doesn't arise singly, not by itself. It always exists, or it stays in a group. Just as we live in the society, in the community, matters, they also live in a group. So I hope you might still remember the concept of nama, right? Under nama, we have consciousness that knows or that awares the object, and the mental states that always arises depending on consciousness. And this is what we are influenced in daily life. So just along with the consciousness, there is always a group of the mental states or cetasika, which we call universal. So when we say mind, it is a basic unit of at least 8 factors, 1 mind, and 7 mental states, right? So in the same way, this rupa also stays in a group, at least or minimally a group of 8. So this we will see. And the last one is the arising or occurrence of matter. How these material qualities of matter, they arise within us, and starting from which time and so on. So it's really interesting. So the first one is the enumeration of matter. This is not to confuse you with the numbers, but without understanding the grouping, it's difficult to understand, see the nature. So for the first and foremost, 28 matters are classified into 2 main categories. The first one is the Mahabhuta, okay? Mahabhuta. In Myanmar, we call Mahabho. And they are the primary elements or the great essentials or the great appearance. Let's say they are the main group. And we also have the matters that depend on that Mahabhuta for arising, that we call dependent matter. Because they cannot arise by themselves, they have to arise depending on the full Mahabhuta. That's why they are known as the Upadaya Rupa or the dependent matter. Sometimes you might also find the word derivative, but it is better to call them as the Upadaya Rupa. So now let's have a look. Mahabhuta, why they become the primary element, or why they are termed as great essentials and great appearance. The first one, Patavi Dhatu, right? This is translated as the earth element or the element of extension. So later we will see each of them in a bit more detail. The second one, Abo Dhatu, right? That is the water element or the element of cohesion. And the third being fire element or the element of heat. When we talk about heat, of course, there is cold as well, because there is always the comparison. That is the Tejo Dhatu. And the last one being air element or the element of motion, Vayo Dhatu. So why are they called the primary element? Here I have given you the brief explanation. These 4 elements, they serve as the fundamental constituents or the factors or component of the matter, and they cannot be separated. So there is the one term that we got to remember, inseparable. So this is the word that we will often see starting from now. They cannot be separated, and they exist in every substance. In which substance? From the most minute, smallest, tiny particle to the most massive or the big mountain, etc. So that's why they are known as the primary elements, because they are the basic or the most fundamental factor or the constituent of this rupa. And they also form the basic of the material group, part of the material group, not only 4. Because just previously I have mentioned that at least there is 8 in the group. So these 8 include these 4 Mahabhuta. So let's move on to another slide. Here we have more explanation. Mahabhutas are primary element. Element means dhatu, right? Dhatu. In the sense that they bear here means they possess their own intrinsic nature. Here, this is the definition of the word element or dhatu. Because it sounds technical, then we got to know this as well. Atano. Atano means own. Sabhavam, nature. Dhariti means bear. Bear own nature. Or bear own intrinsic nature. That's why they are known as the element or dhatu. When we talk about nature, just as these 4 primary elements, they have their nature. We human beings also have different nature. Even in the family, we can be totally different from each other, right? Then, Mahabuddhas are great essentials. Why? Because they are indispensable for the existence of all material phenomena that are present internally. It means within us, within individual, and externally in our environment. We have this Mahabuddha in our body and in our environment. So whatever we look or we analyze our physical body or our environment, there is nothing more than these four Mahabuddha or this great essentials physically. And another explanation, Mahabuddhas are great appearance because the massive substances, big or giant or the great substances are the manifestation of the nature or existence of these four matters. We can see in our environment, we can see the tree, the building, the mountains, the rivers, right? All these are the manifestation or the how it appear in our environment. So let's move on to see the nature of the primary elements. So it says that this physical body, our physical body is composed of the four primary elements. Chatu Mahabhutiko Ayam Kayo. Ayam means this Kayo body, this body. Chatu Mahabhutiko is composed of, is made up of these four primary elements, right? Then let's see the first one, nature of earth element, that is the Prithvi Dhatu. So when we talk about earth element, we will not talk about the physical earth or the earth itself, but we will talk about the quality that is inherent or that is remain in earth. So that is the meaning. Like the earth, Prithvi serves as the foundation for the existing material phenomena. So I have mentioned that we have altogether 28 kinds of matter, which we classify into two main categories. The first one being this primary elements or Mahabuddha, and the other being the dependent matters or Upadhyaya Rupa. So Prithvi is the foundation for the remaining matters. So that is the meaning. So earth being basis, that is the physical earth, the mother earth, which we often mention or refer to as mother earth, is the basics for trees, mountains, buildings, etc. to exist. Because all these things in our human world or on earth, all these things, they have to exist or depend on the earth. That's why it is the foundation. So quality inherent in the earth, just as I have mentioned, we don't talk about the earth itself, the quality that is there. That's why it is known as the Rupa, is translated as the material property or material quality, which you seen in the previous slides. So Prithvi, the nature of Prithvi, it is to expand or to spread out. That's why at the beginning you have also seen Prithvi is the element of extension. Extension means something that expands or that spread out. So its nature, Prithvi, firmness, is firm, is stable. It is hardness, of course, right? Then here I have phone and I touch it and it is hard, right? Then softness. Comparing to the phone, then this tissue paper is softer because of the comparison. And we also have lightness and heaviness. So we can understand that the nature of Prithvi includes hardness, softness, lightness, heaviness, and firmness. So when I touch the tissue paper, this is also a kind of rupa. And which nature is prominent is the soft nature is prominent. And in the same way, when I touch this phone, the hard nature, it is prominent. And comparing to this tissue, this is heavier and this is lighter, right? There is always a comparison. So you will understand better. Like here we have 32 parts of our physical 32 part of our physical body, which in Pali we call kothasa. And some of you might be familiar. This means our physical body is composed of all these elements. Now this is the hand, right? The hand. In the hand we have the nail, the skin, the flesh, and the bones, right? All these substances, when we touch, what we feel is either the soft or the touch nature only. Conventionally, we will say, this is my hand, there is mine there. Or you might see Sayalay is showing her hand as example, right? Hand. But when we remove the skin, when I remove the skin, suppose I cut one finger and remove the skin. Skin is one pile, right? The flesh is one pile, the bone is one pile, and the sinews, the nerves, one pile. Then we lost the identity of the finger. Which one can we call as identity? Is the skin the finger, or is the bone the finger? Is the nail the finger? Is the nerve the finger? Nothing can be termed as or called as finger. So finger is a combination of all these things, in which the nature of hardness or softness, Theravada is prominent. So here, these 20 bodily parts, head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin. It is a group of 5. So it says skin painted. Painted means 5, right? Skin painted. In Pali, kesa, loma, nakha, danda, the jaw. The jaw or the jaw means this skin. Panja is 5. Ka means having. Panchaka means having 5. Taja Panchaka means a group of 5 having this taja or the skin as the 5th. So what are these to be mentioned? It's very important. We have to contemplate on the nature so that we don't get attached to our physical body and we don't get attached to the body of others and we don't get tormented or lamented when things go their way, not our way, right? And during the time of the Buddha, while a novice was getting his hair shaved, the preceptor or the novice was reciting this one, head hair, right? Head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin. Neither of them is I, me, or mine, right? Just the nature. So contemplating on this nature, it leads to the penetration of the Dhamma knowledge, or it can lead to the enlightenment, even enlightenment. So to continue this, and we have also flesh, sinews, bone marrow, kidney, right? This is mamsam, naru, ati menjam, wakam. So these 5 constitute the kidney painted. And after that, we have a group of 5 that is ended by, or that has lung as the 5th one. Yes, we are very much familiar. Heart, liver, membrane, spleens, and lungs. Our organ, our physical organ, right? These are also prominent in this nature of Theravada, hardness, softness. And vowel, mesentery, gorge, tongue, and brain. So starting from head hair to the brain, altogether 20. So just like the time of the Buddha, when we become a nun, our preceptor, they will also recite these 32 body parts and another different forms of air element and the heat element, which exists in our body. So this would really helpful us understand the true nature and how our physical body is composed of, right? So this is 20 parts. They are predominant in the earth element. What is the meaning of predominant? They are more noticeable. They are stronger. Predominant, when we see this term, please remember the former concept or the principle. These four great essentials or primary elements or Mahabuddha, they cannot be separated. So it means our physical body is composed of not only earth element, we will have others remaining elements as well. But in these, Patavi Dhatu is the most prominent. Let's move on to another one. That is the nature of water element, Abho Dhatu. When we think about water element, what is the function? Suppose the water drops on the tissue paper, or I feel some drinking water and I would swipe this with the tissue paper. So what happened? The water spread, or the water permeates into this paper. And another nature of this Abho Dhatu, trickling, is dropping, oozing, dripping. Sometimes the water taps are not properly closed, then you can see the water dripping or trickling from the tap, or even from the tank, and so on. And another nature of this Abho Dhatu, it intensifies or it increases coexistent matters. It helps other increase. It means it accumulates. Here we find this term coexistent matters. When we study Abhidhamma, we will often find these terms, coexistence, or that exist together. Just as these days we talk a lot about the peaceful coexistence among our communities, among the nations and different tribes and races and different religions. Here also there is the coexistence that exists together, matter that exists together. How does it increase? Suppose you're going to make a bread, you have this flour powder, right? What do? You would add milk, you would add butter and all these things, and you mix up together. Then you get a dough. Then you will make into different shape that you like. So without this liquid or without this water, how can you make a dough? It's impossible. No creator can help you make a dough without any liquid or any water or milk or any liquid form, because it helps collect together. Suppose there are some powder spreading, and if you want to gather together, you wet your finger with some drop of water and you collect together, right? So it collecting, it is the meaning of composing different particles. What happened? After collecting, then it holds and it sticks things together. That is the cohesion. What is meant by cohesion? Composing, cohesion, putting things together, sticking things together, combining things together. And this is how it is increased or intensified. But according to Abhidhamma, it might be strange for you to hear, water element cannot be physically sensed. It's impossible. What Sayalay says is impossible, because just now I take shower, and how would it happen that I can't sense? I shower my body with either cold water or warm water, then I can feel, then later I feel refreshed. You might say that. But it says that it cannot be physically sensed, but it can be known through the inferential knowledge, what we call Anumana, guess. We could guess. Suppose you practice meditation, for 1 hour. Then you feel peace of mind and you feel light and cheerful in your physical body. Right? You feel so peaceful in the physical body. So for me, I have never been yet to Nibbana, but through that peace, I could guess how peaceful Nibbana would be. Because during meditation, we try to keep away. Keep away means just a short while, temporarily keeping away or dispelling the mental impurities that makes our mind impure. Even for a short moment, if it is this much peaceful, Nibbana, which is known as the highest bliss or the ultimate bliss, it means there is no bliss or happiness that is higher than Nibbana. So in that case, it would be extremely peaceful. So this is how we get or make inference, right? In the same way, we can know the nature of this Abhidhamma by inference or just by mind or by understanding. Then what happened when you touch water? Suppose you want to wash your hand and you put your hand under the tap. You go to the basin and put your hand under the tap. Then how do you feel? If it is natural or if you choose cold, then you have this cold. Or you might choose the function warm water, then you will feel warm. So hot, heat and warm, this is the nature of Tejo Dhatu, heat element or fire element, which you will see now later. Then you would feel it's soft, right? The water is soft. Or if it is a block of ice or a piece of ice, it would be hot. So hardness or softness, that is the nature of Pachavi. And the heat or cold, that is the nature of this Tejo Dhatu, heat element or the fire element. And you also feel some pressure, right? You also feel some pressure. You might notice more when you swim or when you walk in water. And these days, we have heard of this water therapy as well. For those who are not able to walk properly after malfunctioning of the bone and all these sinews, then the doctor let them walk in the water. It is through the pressure, then try to make the limbs stronger. So we can also feel the pressure that is the Vajradhatu, right? Then for Abhidhamma, we have oceans, lakes, rivers. Abhidhamma is predominant. And the growth of the trees, they are growing well because of this Abhidhamma. Then in our physical body also, there are altogether 12 parts that are in the liquid form. So here we can just see bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat. Yes, blood and sweat, often we can see. And also something that comes from our body like tears, grease, saliva, mucus, and oil of the joint and some excrement, urine. These 12, they are prominent in water element, right? So we have already 2 so far, Pachavi, earth and water, this cohesion or Abhidhamma. And the nature of fire element, that is the Tejo Dhatu. Just as now I have mentioned heat and cold. So it represents temperature. Okay, so this Tejo Dhatu is sometimes represented by the word temperature. Just as I have mentioned in the example, touching the water, you notice either heat or cold. So this is the nature of this fire element or Tejo Dhatu. And we also have this body warmth. Osma Tejo is a kind of heat. Osma, body warmth. And the function of this fire element is making things mature, ripen, cooked. How do you cook your veggie or meat to make a cuisine or a curry? You try to cook it by means of heat. either on the electric stove or the gas stove or put in the oven. By the power of heat, this thing got cooked, right? And sometimes when the fruits didn't get easily ripened, then people tend to cover or wrap up with a paper or cloth, or sometimes, like when we were young, we have seen that it has been put into the rice pot, right? And cover it so that by the help of this warmth or heat, it get ripened faster, or it get ripened easily. Then how about mature? Our physical body, because of this Tejo Dhatu, is getting mature. And you can notice, like, you can compare my hand with a person of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 or 40 years, and it is different. The skin got gradually wrinkled, not very full and flashy like before. The skin, the face, and the hair turning gray, and our teeth also get broken. All these wrinkles, it is because of this Tejo Dhatu. And because this Tejo Dhatu can make things ripen or cook, it also can say it make things soft. So this softness, mudu, this is also that of the 5 element Tejo Dhatu. So in our physical body, we have 4 types of heat. Heat that causes fever. Above the, if the temperature go above normal, then we say we are running temperature, right? This is Santapana Tejo. It brings heat. It can cause fever. And another one, burning heat, that is more severe, stronger. That is the Dahana Tejo. Like when there is burning heat, then people say, oh, too hot, like temperature 103, 2, 3, 4, and like you can notice, or this burning heat is apparent or prominent that time. And the third one is one that I mentioned. Heat that causes aging. Our body is gradually moving or driving towards that age, or the old age, or the changing, or the affliction of diseases. That is the Jirana Tejo. Okay, Jirana Tejo. And the last one, digestive heat. Pachaka Tejo. So the last one, digestive heat, it says that it is because of our karma. So in that, some people have good digestion and some people don't have. So we try to adjust by the help of the medicine or some exercise. And the last one, the nature of air element, Vayo Dhatu. Vayo Dhatu, the nature of motion, pressure, movement. Now I'm sitting in the chair because I want to in the sense that I want to share Dhamma knowledge with you, and you also want to learn Buddhist teaching, Dhamma knowledge. And even though some of you might know more than me, at least they have patience to listen again. So everybody is sitting in a chair or either in a cushion or sofa. So this is caused by our mind to sit. So we call this as the Chaitaja Vayo. Chaita means mind. Ja comes from the Pali word jata. It is caused by Chaita. This Vayo Dhatu caused by Chaita. So now I'm stretching my hand because I want to give example, and I'm moving back, right? This is also, these are performed by the Vayo Dhatu. Movement. So distension, expanding, stiffness. Sometimes we feel so stiff in the body, then this air element is in excess. So as you can see here, our physical body gets sick when these 4 primary elements or great essentials, they are not in balance. If one is excess, like stiffness, this Vayo Dhatu is too much, then you feel so heavy in the body. Sometimes this Abhidhamma is prominent. Your nose might be running, or you may have loose motion, for example. Sometimes you feel that your head is so heavy, so hard, as if it has been pounded by a hammer or so. Then Paṭavī is prominent. Then is prominent means, it is excess, is getting over. That's why it's important to have all these elements, 4 primary elements, in balance. When they are in balance, we feel good, we are healthy. Then 6 types of air elements. Sometimes you have this belching, you eat something, you have indigestion, the air that moves up. That is the Oddangama Vata. Odda means above, Gama means going up, going air. Air that moves down from the body, and air that moves in the belly. Sometimes you can feel the wind moving in your belly, or sometimes when you are hungry, then you can hear that sound. And air that moves in the intestine, that is the Kuthasya Vata, and air that moves in the limb, Anga Manga Nusarino Vata. In some people, this Vaya Dhatu is very prominent. You press any part of the body, either fingers or hands or head or leg, then the air comes out. And another one, what is most important for us, air that breathes in and out, Asasa Basasa Vata. So we can see that our physical body is composed of these 42 elements. That is the 32 body parts, in which 20 is prominent in the Paṭavī Dhatu, hardness or softness, and 12 in the water element, cohesion, fluidity, liquidity, coherence, and 4 elements dominate in the fire element, and 6 in the air element. So what happens when we understand this? Not to make you remember all these numbers, but at least when we have a look and got the basic understanding that our physical body is composed of these things, then what happened? This understanding helps dispel or remove the wrong view of being or individual, satta or jiva, myself, my soul. Like my skin is so bright and brilliant, my hair is so shiny, and my physical body, this is very fit, like we have much liking to our physical body, then it will also be reduced. And this wrong view of attaching to this physical body with the thought of our own property, it will be dispelled. So what is existing within us is mere existence of only nature. So here we have this teaching, Nesatta. Satta means being or individual. Nesatta, not, no being, no individual. Jiva, jiva means soul. Because during the lifetime of the Buddha, there are many teachings which accept the soul, the existence of the soul. Some teachings or there were some belief. Even today, there are some belief that at the end of this life, it means when we are die, that soul come out from our physical body and that move or that transform, transmigrate. Just as people migrate from Myanmar to some other country, or some other people migrate to the third country and so on, that soul also migrate, transmigrate from this body to another. That kind of wrong view will be dispelled when we understand our physical body is the mere combination or the existence or combination of all these natures. So Nesatta, no individual, no being. Nejiva, no soul. Sabhava, nature. Dhamma, only Samvejanti, that exists. So this is very helpful for contemplation. Then, after talking a lot about the 4 primary elements, let's see another group. Because at the beginning, I have mentioned that we have altogether 28 matters. of which the 4 primary elements, or the great essentials in Pali, is the Mahabhuta, right? They are the main group. And this another group, dependent matters, Upadaya Rupa, they depend on the Mahabhuta for arising. So these 24 matters, they are again divided into 10 groups. The first one, sense organs, Pasada Rupa. Pasada Rupa. Later we will see individually. Sense organ means eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, through which we have the sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, right? The sense organ. And the object matter, Gochara Rupa. So that is the another word you find for the object. Before you have learned that the Pali term for object is the Aramana or the Alambana. So here there is a new term you find, Gochara Rupa. Okay? So it is 7. And here I have written 4 plus 3 Mahabhuta. The first group, we have 4 Mahabhuta, Patavi, Abo, Tejo, Vayo. So from these 4, 3 Mahabhuta, they are already accounted again as the object matter. So you will understand better as we move on. So not to get the numbers repeated or overcounted, I have mentioned that way. So object matter itself is 7, but when they are to be counted together with the Mahabhuta, we have to take only 4. Otherwise, the number will be more than 28. Then the matter of sex, Bhava-rupa, the state of being male and female, that is 2. And matter of heart, Hadiya-rupa, on which the mind depends, that is 1. And matter of life, Jivita-rupa, that is 1. When we talk about Jivita, this is the Rupa Jivita. As for the mind, Nama, or the life of the mind, we have this Jivitendriya, or faculty of life. It is a mental state, and it is included in the 7 universal, along with contact, phasa, feeling, vedana, and then motivation, cetana, perception, sanya, motivation of volition, cetana, right? That is organizer. And then one-pointedness, being concentrating on the object. Then we have this faculty of the mental life, jivitendriya, and the last one, attention, manasikara. So that jivitendriya is the life of the mind, consciousness and mental state. And the one we are having here, jivita rupa, that is the matter of life. This is for rupa. And of course, we have the matter of nutrition, ahara rupa. Okay, so starting from the first one, sense organs, and to that sense organ, the object would come and touch. That's why we have the sense consciousness. So the first one, sense organ, object matters, matter of sex, matter of heart, matter of life, and matter of nutrition. Number 1 to 6. If we count altogether 14. And then along with the 4 Mahabhuta, altogether 18. They are real matters. I have explained detail in the next slide. This is just an overview. Then after that, we have this matter of limiting, Parecheda Rupa. This is for the material group only. Because when we say about different objects, there is space. Now I would say that there are some tables around me. In this table, I put my iPad and I have the mouse, and in the front table, then I have this laptop, and on my left, I have books, and here this is water cup, so there are some small tables around me. Then why do I say there are many tables? Because there is space in between. Then in the same way, when we talk about the material group, then there is also the space. So this limiting me just to make a boundary of the material group. This is the meaning. And matter of communicating, that is the body sign, Body sign, I often show you example. Then I move my body as a signal, body language. And I'm talking a lot. This is also verbal intimation. These are matter of communication. Don't worry, you have all the details later. And matter of distinction, this is 5. And the characteristic matter, Lakhana Rupa, that is 4. So number 7 to 10. These 10 kind of matters, they are not real Rupa. They are just a special quality or behavior or mode of Rupa. But since they have to arise depending on the matter, they are also known as the matter. Then let's see, sense organ. So sense organ here refer to the sensitive part of each organ. Right? This is my ear. But this earlobe, it cannot hear. Right? There is some sensitive part inside my ear. It's in a shape of a ring or in the shape of some smooth hair at that particular place. Then there is this. The science say it is eardrum, right? When the eardrum, it got damaged, then we won't be able to hear or we won't hear properly. But suppose I have cut here in my ear, I can still hear because the sensitive part is not yet damaged. So when we refer to the sensitive organ, it refers to the sensitive part. Here I like that word, capture the object. Capture the object. Rector Seattle give this example. Suppose you have a television at home. There is the antenna or so that receive the waves. So it is like that. And it serves as the base for the sense consciousness. It means sense consciousness arises depending on these sense organs. That is the meaning. So sensitive matter of the eye or eye sensitivity. So these are some technical terms. Jakku Pasada. The Pali word name is Jakku Pasada. And so is the sensitive matter of the ear sensitivity, Sota Pasada, nose sensitivity, Gana Pasada, tongue sensitivity, Jiva Pasada, and body sensitivity, Kaya Pasada. So apart from this body sensitivity, the other 4, eye, ear, nose, and tongue, the sensitive part, or the power that can capture the object, that can feel the object, lies only in particular place. The ear cannot see, the ear cannot smell, right? So only the eye can see. So when we talk about eye, here I have mentioned, Abhidhamma explains 2 kinds of eye. Eyeball, or the composite eye. We have the eyeball, but not the whole piece can see. Right? This is known as the Sasambhara Jakku, the eyeball itself, and the sensitive eye, which the doctors might call the retina, where the image can form. Only that sensitive part or particular part can capture or reflect. Only in that part the image can be reflected. So apart from this physical body sensitivity of the 5th one, eye, ear, nose, and tongue, their sensitive part lies only in the particular place. I don't think I have much time to explain all these, but for body sensitivity, it is spreading throughout the whole body. That's why whichever part of the body that we get hurt, then we have pain, we have suffering. But when our nail get longer, we have to cut it. And for you, because you have long hair, you have to have your hair cut, right? And sometimes, suppose I cut my finger and after it got healed, there is the dead cell, right? Dead cell or the dry skin. Then I remove that, I don't feel pain anymore. So except the tip of the hair, the tip of the nail, and dry skin or the dead cells, the body sensitivity is spreading or that is present in the whole body. So this is what we have to note. Another one, sense organ, Gochara Rupa. Here I have written either 7 or 4, and now you will understand why it has to be counted in different ways. So this sense organ serves as the object of the sense consciousness. When we talk about seeing, there must be the object that is seen with the eye, object of the eye, right? This is we call visible object. This is the technical term here. So visible object or visible form. Sometimes it is also translated as represented by the word color or form. Because whatever seen, you can see with your eye, there is the color and the form or the appearance. So this Rupa-ramana, the full name is the Rupa-ramana, right? Aramana is the object, Rupa is the visible, so visible object. But in short, this Rupa-ramana is also called Rupa. Then it's important that we don't get confused. Which part are we focusing now for this 6th lecture? We are focusing on our physical body, which in Pali is called as Rupa. So that Rupa, it refers to the Rupa of physical body as a whole, and it is composed of altogether 28 matters, which we classify into either primary elements and dependent matters. So the whole 28 matter is also called Rupa. But here, the object of the eye, visible form, shape, appearance, color, this in brief is also called as Rupa. So we have to understand according to different context. So when you see Nama and Rupa, right? We are composed of Nama and Rupa, mind and matter. This Rupa refers to this physical body or 28 matter as a whole. It's a big group. But this visible form is one of the 28 Rupa. So please understand according to different contexts. Sound, that is the Sada-ramana. Smell, in brief we call Ganda, Ganda-ramana. Ganda and Gana is different. Ganda is the smell, Gana is the nose. So some people who recite Patana have to be careful not to make mistake, right? Ganda. And I encourage that it's not recited at very fast or very quick speed. It should be clear. Every word that you recite should be clear. So that the meaning didn't get lost or the meaning didn't get changed. Taste, rasa or rasa-ramana. And the last one here, tangibility, that can be touched with the physical body. This is the Puttapa or Puttapa-ramana, right? So here we have explanation. Tangibility is a combination of 3, earth, fire, and air element. So these 3 are Mahabhuta. Now there is the table here. I'm touching. I could sense the hotness. And I could also sense it is just room temperature. Let's say it is not cold, right? And there is also the nature of this Vaya Dhatu that support it to exist. So what I could touch is the nature of hotness, softness, heat and cold, and the motion supporting this nature. So that's why these 3 Mahabhuta, Patavi, earth, Tejo, fire, and Vaya, air, they are to be grouped under tangibility, or that can be touched with physical body. So whatever you take hold of, what you feel is this nature only. Regardless of whatever object it may be, either tissue, paper, or phone, or book, or here the clock, or whatever it may be. So it included in this tangibility. Here, water element is subtle, so it cannot be physically touched, but to be known through the inference Anumana. So here I have explained again. So there is also note why sense object is to be taken as either 7 or 4. Mahabhuta are already listed, and sense objects are taken as 4 when they are counted together with Mahabhuta. So because tangibility is not a different matter, but it is a combination of three Mahabuddha. That's why when these Gochara Rupa or sense objects are counted together with Mahabuddha, we have to take only 4, because 3 are already in 3 that compose tangibility. They are listed under Mahabuddha already. That is the meaning. So let's move on. Then after this sense organ and sense object, we have this matter of sex, bhava rupa. So femininity, ati bhava, and masculinity, pon bhava. So what is this bhava rupa? The source of material qualities from which the idea of male and female are derived. So looking at the mark, the sign, normally we don't have beard or mustache, right? Except when there is some hormonal changes, because I have seen a Korean Bhikkhuni long time back, and she said that she has some mustache, and because she has taken some medicine and because of the hormonal changes, it is there. But normally we don't have it, right? And we also don't have this Adam apple in the ladies. So the mark, the sign, and the walk. But these days it's a little bit difficult to differentiate the state of being male and female in the scope of the work, because even like the gents and ladies, they can manage different kind of work, but basically the work that they do are also different. And the body structure. There might be some exception, but what we talk is about generally, and gait and way of walking, deportment, movements, all these are different. So looking at these signs and symbols and appearance and the job, we can see, oh, this is male, this is female, that is the meaning. It does not refer to the organ itself, but it refers to this, the source of the material quality. So it is important to understand. And matter of heart, Hadaya Rupa. And it is also being the seed of mind. It is also termed as Vatu or Hadaya Vatu. But for those who recite Patana, you would see Vatu, just Vatu. So you would see different terms, Hadaya Rupa or Hadaya Vatu or Vatu, that refers to the heart. And here heart refers to the mind, and Vatu is seed. So Hadaya Vatu is the seed of mind. So where does it lie? It spreads in, or it lies on the blood inside the heart. It says that there are some amount of blood inside the heart, and that Hadaya Vatu, it depends arising on that. So it is the seed or base of mind, except 10 sense consciousness, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching consciousness. And why are these 10 taking into exception? Mean seeing, it depends on eye, right? Only the eye can see. Hearing depend on ear sensitivity, smelling on the nose sensitivity, tasting on the tongue sensitivity, and touching on the body sensitivity. That's why these 10 are to be taken into exception. And there is always the question of where does that Hadaya Vatu lie? And we have the explanation by many scholars. And here I would like to share the thought or the understanding of our Rector Sayadaw, Venerable Dr. Nanda Malabiwamsa. Sayadaw said that in the teachings of the Buddha, or in the Dhamma Singani, the first Abhidhamma text, because we have 7 Abhidhamma texts, the first one is the Dhamma Singani, that is the enumeration of the Dhamma. It appears as under the name of Vatu. It just generally say Vatu. And Hadaya Vatu, because people have often the question of where does it lie, Hadaya Vatu? Is it in the heart or is it in the brain? And Sayadaw has given this logical example. Suppose you feel something emotional. Either you are happy, or you are sad, or you are afraid. Then you can feel the heart throbbing. But regarding some kind of the work of thinking, remembering, then people normally do like this. They say, okay, let me think. Then you press this, the head, referring to brain. So it can be, the location can be any part, either the heart or the brain. The Buddha didn't say anything. The idea is that apart from the 10 sense consciousness, the remaining Jada, they depend on the Hariya virtue. So this is just a brief quotation from the Sayadaw's explanation, and I hope it helps. Then matter of life, Jivita Rupa. Just as I have explained, Jivita Indriya. Indriya means faculty. Here, faculty means that has authority or that exercise power or authority or that governs. Maybe like ministry of health, ministry of education, ministry of religious affairs and culture. So each ministry, they have their authority only in their respective ministry. And here, life, Jivita, it has authority or it has power in the maintaining or protection. So that's why it says perform the function of protection. The eye is also a kind of faculty. Eye, our eye, sensitive eye, because it has authority in case of seeing. An ear has the authority in the case of hearing. And in the same way, this life has the authority or power in the function of the protection. So it protects the karma-born matters, kamaja rupa. So now it's new to us. Later we will see karma-born matters that is caused by karma. So which matters are caused by karma, we will see. So this matter of life, it lies on all parts of the whole body. So according to Abhidhamma or Buddha's teaching, when we say we die, both life of Nama and life of Rupa, it ends up. And when I talk about this Tejo Dhatu, I hope you remember one word, the body warmth. Okay, that is the Osama Tejo. So how can it decide that a person is dying? Are you life? Life being the life of this Rupa and the life of Nama. Osma, the body warmth. Vijnana, consciousness. So in the Mahabharata we have this verse. Ayu osamaja vijnanam yadakayan sahantimam apavedo tatha seti nirathanwa kalenkaram. So it says, when our body has no more life, no more body warmth and consciousness, it is decided that we die and we have been, and we lie like a piece of log on the ground without any value. That is the meaning. And matter of nutrition, that is the ahara rupa. So that is the nutritive essence that sustains the body. So it's also termed as oja. Okay, ahara rupa, not ahara, okay, ahara rupa, and another term is the oja. And here it refers to the material food. That is food ingested by making into morsel. Morsel means in the Indian tradition, right? They used to take the food with the hand and to put into the mouth, we prepare a mouth, right? Just enough to put into the mouth, the morsel, that one. That is called the kapala. And kara means making, ahara means nutrition. So kapali kara hara, ahara is nutrition, kara is making, kapala means making into morsel. Now maybe we can say this day 1 spoonful, right? Or even if you are taking with the chopstick, some amount that you can carry by the chopstick. Or if you're eating with a fork, also it's the same. So here, what is the meaning of ahara? Because later this oja, it will be included in every material. So ahara means that brings its effects, right? That means that produces or that causes effect. That is the translation of the Rector's Shadow. Here I have introduced you with 4 types of ahara. 1 is rupa and 3 is nama. So the first one is Kabbaligara ahara, the one that I mentioned, food that brings about material group, of which the 8th is oja. It means it is included in the inseparable. Because at the beginning I say that the 4 Mahabuddha, primary elements, they cannot be separated. And the basic unit of the matter or rupa is 8 that exists in a group. And in that 8, that oja is also there. And oja forms the last one. That's why it's also known as the oja tamaka. Here I have not written. So this is the rupa ahara. And the other 3 being nama ahara. The first one is phassa, contact, one of the universal mental states. When there is contact, there is feeling. Remember, this is from the Paticca Samuppada. So it says that phassa paccaya vedana. When there is contact, there is feeling. Right? When you see something cheerful, you also feel happy. You see somebody in trouble or crying, then you also feel sort of unhappy. These are mental contact, right? Then some people, they are afraid of the height. And these days, people invented a lot, and they make bridge, the glass bridge. And as you look down, you can see the very deep, maybe cliff or something. Then people dare not walk because this is looking at the height. Then they are afraid. And I also in relation to that, something that strike my mind is like food for thought, right? There are some series like chicken soup series, food for thought. This is also ahara, right? Ahara, that is the contact produces feeling. It gives you sort of encouragement or inspiration. And another one, manos and cetana ahara, it's referred to the cetana. So it causes the rebirth. It means we did many things in our past life, and as a result, we are born. That is the sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Because of the volitional activities that are purposely done out of volition or motivation, they create new life. That is the meaning. And at the very moment of rebirth linking, that is the very first consciousness in our life, we have both nama and rupa. Vijnana paccaya nama rupam. Right? In that, vijnana causes this nama rupa to arise. So here I say that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pertains to the Paticca Samuppada or dependent origination. So we have 4 types of ahara. Then moving back to the rupa, we have matter of limiting, parecheda rupa. And here, by limiting, we refer to the limiting or the separating of the material groups. Because when we talk about the group, then a group or partition. So here I can see about six boxes. It means I can see about 6 participants. Because there is a boundary or the mark, then I know this is one partition, or this is one person there. So it is like that. But here space means limit or separate material groups. Because when we talk about space, there is open space. And also, suppose this is the pot, this is the opening. At the opening also, there is also the space, but not that kind of space. That is space that limits or that mark or that separate material group. If there were no space, we would say only one, right? So that is the Parecheda Rupa or Akasa Dhatu. And the next one, matter of communicating or matter of signifying, that is the sign of the body and speech that cause one's idea to be known to others. I'm expressing my thoughts and my idea through speech. This is called vocal intimation or vowel intimation, Vachi Vinyati. And through body sign, Kaya Vinyati. Right? Like when we were young, then when we want to get permission from our teacher, like during classroom, we want to go to the restroom, then we have to fold our hand and we have to do like this. Teacher, excuse me, please may I go out? So this is the symbol of the respect that we have to show to our teacher. And that symbol would be different from one culture to another. Another one, matter of distinction, Vikara Rupa. So here again, we have this lightness, softness, adaptability again. Because when we study about Cetasika, we have already seen them. Lightness. But this lightness here refers to the Kaya Lahuta. It refers to the physical body. In the Cetasika, we have among the beautiful mental states, Sobhana Cetasika, or the beautiful universal mental states. I hope you remember 6 pairs. Lightness of the mind, lightness of the mental states, right? Here, lightness of the physical body, softness of the physical body, and adaptability of the physical body. That is the Kaya Lahuta, Kaya Muduta, and Kaya Kamenyata. These are the special qualities. When do you have these qualities in your mind? Because mind and body are always related. When you are mentally happy, relaxed, then you also feel this good quality in your physical body, right? This is because they are special quality, they make our physical body different. Suppose there are 2 situations. In one situation, you feel light in your physical body, but when you are not physically well or when you are mentally upset or sorry, then you feel heavy in the body. So here again, I have mentioned to be taking either 3 plus 2 intimation. So these 3 quality and 2 intimation, when they are combined together, they are known as matter of distinction. So that is the Vikara Rupa. And the characteristic matter, that is the Lakhana Rupa. Lakhana Rupa means arising, existing, and dissolution. Later I will explain that. So initial arising means first arising. At the beginning of rebirth linking, it means the moment we were born. Some matters arise. Let's say matter that are caused by karma, they arise for the first time. For example, this kaya or the body or eye, when it arises for the first time, it is known as the initial appearance, upajaya. But of course, it has to keep on arising so that it is increasing while we are staying alive or while we are living. So the later arising is known as the santati. And whatever that comes into existence would have to encounter decay. That is the jarata and impermanence, anejata. So that's the end of the 28 matters. And 18, we can classify them as 2. 18 are real matters. That is starting from Mahabuddha. And we have the sense organ, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, object, visible object, sound, smell, taste, and tangibility. And 2 matters of sex, the state of being male and female. 1 matter of heart, hadayavatu. 1 matter of life, jivita rupa. And 1 matter of nutrition. These 18, they are real matters. Because they possess intrinsic nature, they are known as the Sabhava Rupa. Each has their own nature. And they are concretely produced matter, being produced or caused by four conditions: Kama, Jada, Udu, and Ahara. That's why they are known as the Nibbana Rupa. Just to familiarize with you with some name, not Nibbana. Right? Nibbana is to be spelled with Nibbane. This is Nibbhane, Nibbana Rupa. And it can be the object of insight meditation, that is the Samasana Rupa. So you can take any of these during your meditation. And the remaining 10, matter of limiting, that limit the material group, and matter of communication, that is the body sign and the speech, and matter of distinction, 3 special qualities of lightness, softness, and adaptability, and the characteristic matter. They are not real matters, but they are special modes, quality, or behavior of the matter. Right? Suppose you go to the restaurant and you order some meal, and there is the main course, and there are some side dishes that they might offer you. So what you say is you just eat the main course, not the side dishes. And in Myanmar tradition as well, if you go to the Myanmar cuisine shop, then you might order one kind of meat or 2 kinds of meat curry, but they would serve you some salad or some fish base or vegetable as the serving. So it is like that. And classification of matters. So after seeing them, now we will classify by 2 ways. The first way is the single fold method. It means it is only one. Let's see. All 28 matters are rootless. It means they do not associate with roots. Ahetuka Jeda. So when talking about this classification, we need to compare with the mind or Jeda. In the Jeda, we have Jeda together with root. Let's say craving, lobha, hatred, dosa, delusion, moha. Or when you are generous, that is alobha. And when you cultivate loving kindness, adosa. Or when you have wisdom, amoha, right? So these Jada, they are together with these roots. So they are Jada with the roots. But there are some Jada without the roots as well. Like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. They don't have any root, according to Abhidhamma. When the object get into combination or get into contact with the physical senses or sense organ, we have sense object. So they are just mere resultant. There is no lobha, dosa, moha at the moment of seeing, right at the moment of seeing. So when we talk about Jada, there is twofold, Jada with root, Jada without root. But when we come to the matters, all the matters are ahetuka, rootless. And they depend on 4 conditions. That's why they are known as the sapajaya. And they are objects of taint. Taint is the asava. So here I have mentioned 3 factors: craving, lobha, wrong view, deity, and delusion, moha. So when these are the objects that we get attached to, we crave for, or we hold them by means of wrong view, as this is mine, this is my property, my family, and all these things. And I mean in the sorts of attachment, right? And delusion. So they are known as the sasava. And again, they are conditioned by kama, jeda, udu, and ahara. In that, they are known as the sankata, right? And nibbana is unconditioned. Nibbana is the asankata, differently, or on the contrary. Mundane, pertain by nature to 5 clinging aggregates. Because these rupa, they become the object of clinging. Or the 5 aggregates, like rupa, vedana, sanya, and the mind, they become the object of clinging. That's why whatever rupa it might be, it belongs to the mundane. That's why it is known as Lokiya. When we come to the Jada, we have mundane consciousness, Lokiya Jada, and supramundane consciousness, Lokottara Jada. But when we come to Rupa, all Rupas are mundane, Lokiya, and pertain to sense sphere, object of sensual craving, that is the Kamavajara. But in the case of the Jada, Jada are classified in terms of the sense sphere, Kamavajara, form sphere, Rupavajara, and non-material or immaterial sphere, Arupavajara. But in the case of Jada, all are Kamavajara. And the next one, cannot aware of or take the object. That is the Anaramana. It means Rupa cannot be aware of the object. Just opposite to or contrary to Jada. The nature of Jada is knowing the object, awareness of the object. But when we come to Rupa, it cannot take the object. It is the object of the mind or the Jada, right? Anaramana. And not to be abandoned like mental defilements, Apahadaba. Pahadaba means to be abandoned. When you can abandon the wrong view, and the doubt, Vijigajja, deity and Vijigajja, when you have no more wrong view, you never say that the Buddha's teaching are wrong, or the Buddha or the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha did not exist. There is no value in doing marriage or taking care of the parents or practice of meditation and all these. And when you can clear away all the doubts and wrong view, when you can really uproot it, and when you have the unshakable faith in the triple gem, then you are a Sotapanna. So when you become Sotapanna, you eradicate wrong view and doubt, deity and Vijigajja. But you do not eradicate or you do not abandon, you do not remove any matter. What you remove is just the attachment or wrong view or doubt that arises depending on matter. So in that, it's also very important to know that. And classification of matter, that is the twofold analysis. So just to introduce you, 5 sense organs, they are internal because they are essential in life. Without eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, how would we communicate? So the remaining are external. And the sense organ number 2 is the base of mind. It refers to 6 kinds of matters, sense organ and heart base. I have already explained 5 sense organs. They are the base for the 5 sense consciousness. And all the remaining consciousness depend on heart base. That's why they are known as the base of mind or Vatu Rupa. Number 3 is the door of mind. It is a metaphorical usage. What is the purpose of door? We come in and we go out. In the same way, the object, they come in like visible object or the form or appearance, it comes through the eye door. It did not really enter your eye, but metaphorically it gets into contact, meaning it enters the door. And through communication, this body intimation, bodily sign, and verbal intimation, speech. So through that speech, we accumulate karma. Now we are sharing marriage. This is kusala karma. And through either bodily sign or through some abusive words, we can accumulate akusala karma, right? So they are metaphorically known as door of mind. And 5 sense number 4 is the faculty, Indriya Rupa. 5 sense organ, 2 sex matters, and life matter. That is the jivita. They are termed as faculty. Faculty means having authority in their respective case. That's I have already explained. And the remaining non-faculty. And gross matter, it means easily understood. That can be easily understood or close to the wisdom eye. And it refers to the 5 sense organ and 7 object matters, right? 5 sense organ and 7 object matters. And the same 12 kinds of matter, sense organ and object matter. I think among the 28 rupa, that would be the easiest one for us to understand. So they are metaphorically known as mere matter. Number 6, sandhike rupa. And number 7, with impingement or striking. It means they get into contact with each other. So these 12 matters, they are known as the gross matter or larika rupa or sandhike near matters. Like when somebody is has same liking or share same thoughts and liking and have understanding, you say my dear and near one, right? So in the same way, this is the near matters. So 5, 6, and 7, number 5, number 6, and number 7, they just refer to the same type of matter and they are given just different names. And number 5, gross matter or larika rupa is 12. And on the right column here, remaining matter, subtle matter is 16, right? In that 16, then we have this water element Abhidhamma. I have explained water element is very subtle, so it cannot be physically sensed, but to be known through the inferential knowledge or guessing, right? So these words you will find quite often. Olarika and Sukuma is form a pair, gross matter and subtle matter. If you study Abhidhamma, you will often see this term. Number 8, matter result that are result of karma. That is the 18 Kamaja Rupa. So later we will see these 18. And to continue, matter that can be seen with the eye is just one. That is the visible object or form or color. So whatever can be seen with the eye, it comes under this name, visible object. So the remaining we cannot see with the eye. Number 10, matter that receive or take the object, that is the 5 sense organs. It is also metaphorical usage because when we, let me go back, here, the second last one, cannot aware of or take the object, right? It says that matter cannot aware or take the object. This is one statement. And now what we have here, matter that take or receive the object. So this number 10, please understand, this is a metaphorical usage. It may, depending on I, we have seeing consciousness. So it says that matter receives the object. We have this simple example. Suppose you visit a school, like a kindergarten school, then you would see children playing, shouting. They are happy and it's very noisy. What would you say? You say, the class is very noisy, right? Actually, the class cannot do any action, but the children that are staying in the classroom are noisy. That's why you say the class is noisy. So that statement of making the class being noisy is said depending on the place. And here also the same, because sense consciousness, seeing, hearing, etc., can arise, has to arise depending on that sense organ. So metaphorically, it says they take the object. Then what is important is this number 11. Inseparable matters, okay? It is for Mahabuddha, you already have this concept. They are inseparable. They cannot be separated. They are always together. Form, that is the visible object. Smell, taste, and nutrition. It says that these 8 cannot be separated. Okay, you torn this tissue paper, there will be some powder. Or suppose you break this cup, then you will have some powder. And even in the smallest particle, we have this 8. The nature of hardness, softness, pathavi, the nature of cohesion, sticking things together, right? Powders are stick together to make this tissue. And it is to be dry with the tejo by the help of the fire element tejo dhatu. And vaya dhatu, it helps support to be upright. If there were no vaya dhatu, it won't be able to stay upright. And then we have, this can be seen, whatever can be seen with the eye form. Yes, smell. There is some smell of this tissue paper. And the taste, you might have some taste. It might not be tasty, but the taste is there. And the nutrition. Here, nutrition means that can give you some effect. Suppose you put poison and put in your mouth, the effect is there, right? The nutrition here does not mean that gives you energy, because that's why I have taken much time to explain different kind of nutrition. Nutrition means that causes or that produces effect. The effect of the poison, or you put chili, the effect of the chili, right? So these 8 are always there. 8 inseparable, avinay bhoga rupa. So at least we got to remember these 8. 4 Mahabhuta, and then form, smell, taste, and nutrition. So at least we got to remember these 8. This chart explains like which matters are caused by this condition, because I have introduced you about 4 kinds of condition: Kama, Cheda, Udu, and Ahara, right? So here, just to give you some example, I won't go much detail. Here, on the left column, we have Kama, right? And then produced matter is 9. That means sense organ, basada, and sex, that is Bhava, heart, Hadaya, and Jivita. And on this column, you know, Kamaja. Under Kamaja, you find 2 columns. Under Kamaja, you find 2 columns. SPEC, I refer to specific or particular. And com refer to common. By specific, it means it is caused by only one condition. That is the meaning, specific. So, can see this way. Then, sense organ, sex, heart, and life, they are produced only by karma. And if we move down, Jada, now you please match from left to right column, Jada. Jada means intimation, bodily intimation, body gesture, and the words. They are caused only by Jada. They are produced only by Jada. So it is the, you would see here, Jada, 2 specific things here. And sound. Sound can be produced by Jada and Udu. Okay, that means the sound that comes from my mouth, that is the Jada. And here I can hear the clock, tick, tick, and right? And this is caused by Udu. It means in the living things, sound can be produced by either Jada or Udu. Jada is clear. By Udu means temperature. Sometimes you would hear some air moving in the physical body. I have already explained as a kind of the air element, Vayodhatu, sound that move inside the body. But in the outside things or in the inanimate things, you would hear microphone. So now the sound that you hear, my voice that you hear, comes through the systems. It already become Udu. But originally that comes from my throat. It is the Jadaja. Or that goes through the microphone or some kind of system, it's already changed into Udu. And the sound of the thunder, sound of rain, sound of air, any sound that exists around us, or in the non-living things, or that is produced by material or by nature, it produced by Udu. And then 8 inseparable and space. Here I have shown you with the star or asterisk sign. They can be caused by all the 4 conditions: Kama, Jada, Udu, and Ahara. So here, there is this 18. This column 18, Kamaja 18. Then this 18 we got by 9 specific matters, sense organs, 5 sense organs, 2 sex matters, heart and life. These 9 are produced or caused only by karma that is specific, and the remaining 9, that is 8 inseparable and space, they are common in the sense that they are produced by all the 4 conditions. That's why they come under this common cause. So altogether, Kamaja Rupa is 15. So it has to be seen or understand that way. As for now, I don't think I have time to explain all this. So Kamaja is 18. Now we go from top to bottom here. Kamaja, Chaitaja, Uduja, and Aharaja. Kamaja is altogether 18. Chaitaja is 15, Uduja 13, and Aharaja 12. So if you have time, then you can read later. Or if you just, for your understanding, then it's okay, even if you don't view later. Then causes of matter, Rupa Samauthana. And when we say karma that causes matter, which karma? It's a 25 past karma. That is the 12 akusala karma, unwholesome, rooted in lobha, lobha mula jeda, rooted in hatred, dosa mula jeda, rooted in delusion, moha mula jeda, altogether 12. And the 8 sense sphere wholesome consciousness, mahakusala jeda. I have given you the example of these in the last lectures. So that is 8, and fine material sphere wholesome consciousness, altogether 25. So our karma that we have done in our past life produce effect in this life. It means what we are doing now will give effect in the next life. Then it says that any of these karmas, so 25 shows the possibility, and any of these karma arises within us, in our beings, it means your kusala karma will produce good result in you. And so is my kusala or akusala karma will result in myself, not in you. That is internally. And producing 18 karma born matters, kamaja rupa. And starting from the arising moment of rebirth linking mind, patisandhi jeda, and at every mental moment. So I hope you will understand from this 3 phases or 3 stages. That is the lifespan of nama and rupa. So whatever phenomena it may be, either jeda or mental state, cetasika or rupa, it has to go through these 3 stages. That is the arising, we call upada, arising moment, upada khana, existing moment of presence, titi khana, and dissolution moment, that is the banga khana. So each lasts for 1 sub-moment. Then how long is that sub-moment? It's very, very short, even shorter than seconds. Because it says that even in the 1 blinking of the eye or 1 flash of lightning, millions of jadas arises and disappear. So it would be very short moment. Then it says that the lifespan of nama is the 1 mind moment or 1 thought moment. But when we come to the rupa, then it is 17 times longer. You can see at the bottom 2 asterisk signs. Because the existing moment of rupa is 49 sub-moments, it means the mind comes and goes more quickly than rupa. Even like your new, maybe you have a new book and you just keep in the cupboard. And as time passes by, the color faded away and the paper also get turned into yellow color, and the cover or the leather might be eaten by some insects. It's getting into perishing or changing or deforming, but their lifespan is apparently longer comparing to the mind. So the lifespan of Rupa is 1/7 times longer than that of Nama. So the difference lies in the existing moment. You can see this 49 sub-moment, right? This is the TT or existing moment. So Rupa is strongest at that moment. So we have to understand this word. Then Jada. Some of you have already studied Abhidhamma, so you know more about Jada, and some of you might not have. Then at least you can see that there are 75 types of consciousness that can bring changes to the physical body. That is the meaning. For example, when you smile, there can be different Jada. Of course, it is with pleasure, somanasa sahagata, but suppose you are smiling after doing merit, and this is the kusala Jada. But sometimes, the moment you are enjoying your favorite food, or when you are enjoying your movie or music, or, right, then with much passion and much liking, at that moment, it is with the loba mula, that craving or attachment that you are smiling. So it is like that. Then this 75 Jadas, I won't go into detail here. For example, for us, it is one of the sense sphere resultant or Mahavibhaka Jada that we are born as a human being. Then at the moment of rebirth, it produces this mind-born matter, starting from which moment? Starting from the arising moment of the life continuum, Pavanga Jeda, and at every arising moment. I think it might sound too technical for you. So for the time being, you can listen to me this way. The very first Jeda, our life has 3 portions, right? We are born, we live, and we die. So the first one, we are born, we call rebirth linking. Because it links the past life with the present life, it's called rebirth linking or Patisandhi Jeda. And only the very arising or very first moment, arising moment of the rebirth linking is known as the rebirth moment. And the remaining we call life continuum or during lifetime. It means now we are living our life, this means during lifetime. During lifetime, we can have 2 kinds of consciousness. Active consciousness, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, the 5 senses, and thinking, altogether 6 types, right? As I'm talking and you are hearing, there is hearing consciousness. And it comes in a process which we call VT, and these are the active type of consciousness. Then what happened with the consciousness that arises at the very beginning? Let's say Patisandhi Jeda, or the rebirth mind. Apparently, we are born as a result of our past good or wholesome karma. You did kusala in the past, and now you have the resultant of good as a human being. So that consciousness is known as the resultant consciousness. So resultant consciousness in karma plane, or we can also say great resultant. I think the Pali word is also easy to remember, Mahavibhaka. Let's say our Patisandhi Jeda is the first type of this Mahavibhaka Jeda. And the same type of Jeda continues, but it is given different name according to the different function. Since it arises for the first time, it is known as the rebirth linking Patisandhi, right? And as it continues in our life, not the same Jeda, I say the same type of Jeda. The same type of Jada continues in our life, performing continuing life or life continuum we call Bhavanga. Bhavanga is a Pali word and it's a combination of two words, Bhava and Anga. Bhava is life, Anga is factor, life factor. Right? It means our mind must continue throughout the whole life, the same type of consciousness. And as it arises for the first time, it is known as rebirth linking consciousness. And after that rebirth linking consciousness, it is not called as rebirth linking anymore. It changes its name. That is the life continuum, continuing life. Right? During is another we call Bhavanga. So during lifetime, we have only two types of consciousness. Active consciousness, and we would say sort of passive consciousness. Active here, we refer to the sense consciousness, eye, ear, nose, tongue, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, right? These come in a process. And in between these processes, there are very short moments of this Bhavanga Jada. And at the end of the life, we call this death consciousness, Juti Jada. So the same kind of Jada arises throughout the whole life. And as they perform different functions, they are given different names. Like you are born as a child, right? After that, you are adult. Then as I grow old, I will be senior person or elderly person. Is it same type of person or different type of person? You would say same person. But if it were same person, why do we grow old? Right? But it is the same person, but passing by the different phases or stages or lifespan of our life, we are given different like, let's say, status. This is the toddler, this is the teenager, or this is the adult, or this is the child, this is the teenager, and this is the elderly person. In the same way, the Jada is given 3 different names. So I try to explain you about the life continuum. And another one is the Udu or temperature. It's almost 11, but I will try to wind up and conclude, giving you some idea of how it is like. Then it's Udu or temperature. It arises within us. Starting from the second sub-moment, existing moment or TT moment of rebirth mind. So let's say the very first Jada in our life is the rebirth linking consciousness. And every Jada has 3 stages: arising, existing, and dissolution stage. So at the very first moment or the arising moment of rebirth mind, we have the karma, matters produced by karma. And at the existing or TT moment of the same, this rebirth mind, we have this matters produced by Udu. And the second Jada is the Bhavanga Jada, right? So at the arising moment of that Bhavanga Jada, the matters produced by Jada started to produce. So this is the meaning. So I think I won't explain all detail. And Ahara Rupa. Ahara Rupa is the nutritive essence or oza, and that arises within us internally. It means that because matter does not arise alone, it always comes in a group, and the minimum being 8, right? For Mahabuddha, Patavi, earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. And after that, we have form, visible form, smell, taste, and then we have this nutritive essence. So it means it's already inside us. And when the fetus, it got nutrition from mother, when the internal oja nutriment, when it gets into contact with the external nutriment from mother, then this nutritive essence started to get active or produced. So it explains this one. Then I would like to briefly introduce you about the Rupa Kalapa, right? Rupa Kalapa means just like the mental states or Cetasika, matter also possess 4 characteristics. It means all these 8 matters that exist in the material group, they arise together, they exist together, and then, they cease together, and they have a common base, and they have, they exist together, coexistence. So altogether 4 characteristics. And just as there are 4 conditions, material groups also come under this 4. So material groups born of karma, born of means caused or produced by. So this is a technical term. We call Kammaja Kalapa. So we have Kammaja, Chaitaja Kalapa, Uduja Kalapa, and Aharaja Kalapa. So seeing this, I hope you will remember. Material groups born of karma. Right? So the first one, the basic unit being 8. Right? And we have this life. Because karma is life or jivita matter is mainly produced by this karma. So the basic unit become 9 here. For us living being, the basic unit in this Kammaja Kalapa is 9. And to add, what do we add to that? We add I. So it becomes 10. In the second line, you can look horizontally. I take Jakudasaka, 8 inseparable matters, life and sensitive eye. In this way, there is a group of 10. So the same way should be applied to the ear, nose, tongue, and body. So all they form this 10. So the idea is that inside my eye, there is the sensitive part, like the retina, where the image would come or where the image can be captured. In that particular place, there are many groups of this Rupa Kalapa, or the group, having I as the 10th matter. So many groups are combining. And you look at number 6, body decade. As big as, in accordance with the measure of this physical body, we can imagine how many Rupa Kalapa or small groups would be combining to make the appearance or to form the appearance of one finger or one hand. So in this way, you can see that our physical body is composed of the material groups like this, the sense organ and the state of me, male and female, they are produced by karma. So in that particular place, there are millions of these small groups combining together to form this shape. So this is the meaning. And here I have given some example, or not example, the list of the how Chaitaja, Uduja, and Aharaja groups are composed. So I don't think I go that. I want to explain this. And I think I will conclude in, let me give 5 more minutes, okay? And altogether we have 21 material groups. And the first 2 from the Uduja, that is the pure octet. I have already explained. Suppose there is a small powder from this tissue. Even in that particle, there is a combination of 8, right? So it's present in all the inanimate things. But when we come to the sound, it is a combination of 9. In addition to this 8, we have sounds like the sound of the rain and the sound of the wind, etc. So what is important to understand is that, matters that are produced by karma, they cannot be present in the non-living things, only inside us. Karma, jada, right? Okay. And then ahara, they can be produced matter or they can bring effect only within us, not outside or in external things. Outside or in the external thing, only these 2 exist. These two kalapa, two types of kalapa exist, I have to say. Then I would like to introduce you with the 4 kinds of being that come the last section. Those born of egg and the ja, like the chicken and the birds and snakes, and born of worm, like we human being, and some animals like the cat and the dogs, and the elephant, and born in moisture, like the insect. And what is strange here, those born by making their appearance, that is the opapatika. It means they are born life-size. Here it includes devas, brahmas. Devas, they don't have to go into stages like us human beings. For us, we are the embryo developed very gradually. Later you will see now. But for devas, brahmas, being in hell, and petas, and more importantly, humans at the beginning of this world, they are born life-size as an adult. So this is another type. So whatever type of being in the 31 planes of existence, they pertain only to this. And this is the meaning. And for us human beings, born in mother's womb, at the arising moment of rebirth mind, I say kamaja matters are produced, and 3, body, and then the state of being male and female, and the Hadaya virtue. Only these 3 kalapa started. So each kalapa or each group has 10 type of matters. So 3 group is the 30 matters. So in the Paticca Samuppada, in the next lecture, I will link to that. In the law of dependent arising, it says Vijnana Pacaya Nama Rupam. Right? Vijnana. Because of consciousness, there is mind and matter. It means since we are born at the very moment of rebirth linking, we have both mind and matter. So this is the message that I would like to give, right? So mind means one of the 8 Mahavipaka Chetas, and along with the Cetasika, and matter means these 3 material group of 30 matters. And here is the development of the fetus as the Kamaja Rupa. So upon the question of a deity, not a deity, of a ogre, then the Buddha explained this, how our fetus is developed. The first time, during the very first moment of this patisandhi, then we have this clear or tiny drop of water, or like the sesame oil. This is the kalala. And for the next week, it is developed into the foamy reddish water. The example is like when you are going to cook the meat, you wash it, and you have this reddish foamy water. It is like that at the second stage. The third stage, soft tissue or flesh. And for the next stage, it becomes a little bit harder, a lump of flesh. And for the next, the 5 swellings appear. Pasaka means like the branches. So this is for the head, 2 legs, and 2 hands. So 5 swellings appear. And later it is followed by the growth of head hair, body hair, nail, etc. So you have the reference here from the Indaka Sutta of the Yaka Samyoda. So the final message I want to give, the last slide, matter do not arise alone or singly, but always in a group. And basically composed of 8 matters which are inseparable. Then what is the benefit of understanding this nama and rupa? Right? There are 2 fundamental knowledge of Abhidhamma, nama, rupa, paricitanyana. This is the mind, this is the matter. That is the knowledge of discernment of mind and matter, and the knowledge of causality. Like eye consciousness arises depending on the visible object, eye sensitivity, there is light, there is attention. So this seeing is produced by all the 4 causes. If one condition is lacking, we cannot see. So this is the understanding. Because of attachment, there is sorrow, right? And if you want to be peaceful, you have to remove attachment. So this is the understanding of cause and effect. Because you eat something salty, your hypertension is getting higher and you have problem. So if you avoid that, your problem will be solved. This is the nature of cause and effect. So these two knowledges are fundamental in understanding ourselves and the Vipassana practice. And by understanding Rupa, it dispels the wrong view of being Satta or soul Jiva, as I have explained. And also it dispels the perception of compactness. Like, suppose I get very much attached to this phone, but if it is removed into different parts, I cannot find the phone anymore. Is the screen the phone? Is the button the phone? Is the battery the phone? No. Only when they are combined together, this is the phone. And in the same way, like you are very much likened to remain your happy mind to continue, this is the process. But from moment to moment and at every moment, everything, either mental or phenomena, are leading to the impermanence and suffering. So such kind of thing can be dispelled. So that is the end of the slide, and I think I have fed you too much with the information today, and please excuse me for taking extra time. Thank you very much, and wishing you have a good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and good night. So I will conclude by reciting Buddha Sasanam. Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetadu, Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetadu, Buddha Sasanam Jiram Tetadu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. May the teachings of the Buddha last long. May the teachings of the Buddha last long. May the teachings of the Buddha last long. Well done, well done, well done. Bhavatu sabba mangalam, rakhantu sabba devata, sabba buddha nubhavena, sabba dhamma nubhavena, sabba sangha nubhavena, sada sukhi bhavantu te. May there be all blessings. May you all be. May there be all blessings. Bhavatu sabba mangalam. May the deities protect you. By the power of the Buddha, by the power of the Dhamma, by the power of the Sangha, may you all be well, happy, peaceful, and accomplished. Thank you very much.